Just about ready to head over to Studio 2A, where we are joined live by Gabe Sullivan and Ryan Alfred, two musicians that Tucson is truly proud to call its own. Gabe, Ryan, whenever you're ready, take it away.
All right. Song by the greatest songwriter that ever did exist. It's a life worth living, but we all gotta die. All your crying can't do me no good. Just lower me down with a quick sad goodbye. Pour in the black Texas mud. It's a hard road you're traveling, can't walk it alone. You find a big man to stand beside you and take him down to the river and show him my bones. Tell him here lies a friend I once knew. As a friend I once knew. Well, the black crow is screaming, the yellow sun's warm, and the grass tumbles tall down the hill. There's a cold wind building, it's bringing a storm. Is it you or is it me? And all that I have known, the gems and the stones, are with me now in the arms of Magdalene. It's all with me now in the arms of Magdalene. I feel better at night when I'm out and I'm alone. There's a song written in a van on a drive to Prescott, Arizona. Recorded on an iPhone professionally. Borrowed blood between you and me, two hearts at sea. Borrowed blood down to the bone, as two hearts growing old. And who are we to dream such things, to walk out in the snow? And are we really so bold to forget what we know? Borrowed blood between you and me, two hearts at sea. Borrowed blood down to the bone, it's two hearts growing old. Right. And what about the rivers and the sea? Do they remind you of me? Just a heart to search endlessly for all that it needs. Borrowed blood between you and me, two hearts at sea. Borrowed blood down to the bone, it's two hearts growing old. Borrowed blood between you and me, two hearts at sea. Borrowed blood down to the bone, it's two hearts growing cold.
This is KXCI Tucson. This is Locals Only. My name is Sophie, and I am joined live in Studio 2A by just two dudes, a couple guitars. Welcome. Yeah. What are your names? What are you here for?
I think I'm Ryan Alfred. I'm here to play electric guitar.
I'm Gabriel Sullivan. I'm here to play these songs and sing to you.
And if you want to see them in person, tune in. We are live on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
And you can see the logical fallacy that just took place with your own eyes. Gabe, welcome. This is a beautiful new album.
Thanks.
It was a real treat to listen to all the way through. How was LA?
LA's just fine. Turns out they don't really need me, but I'm having a good time being there. You know.
Was it like a full-on release show?
Oh yeah, you're talking about the concert.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about my existence or something. No, the show was great. Had the Tucson homies behind me, Winston Watson and Connor Gallagher backing me, and yeah, it was great. Like kind of the first proper show I've done in LA in many years, and it's really nice. Like a lot of new friends, a lot of old friends, a lot of Siksa fans out there,
awesome.
And yeah, it's
and
a good time.
Was it the first time you performed these songs?
I literally realized the week we started rehearsing, you know, I'm not much for, I don't give any one song too much attention. I feel like they're just, got to get them down, get them out, and move on. And with that said, I realized when it came time for rehearsals that I might have known the songs worst of anybody in the band. I recorded them, wrote them, and that was it. But yeah, it's nice to revisit them.
Yeah, and then you're going to revisit them again this week
Yeah.
at Congress on the 4th.
They're like old friends.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's talk about said album. There's so many... there's so much depth to this. It's kind of like hard for me to know where to start, but it's your 4th studio album, correct?
I think my 5th.
5th.
I think.
Excuse me. And I think it takes a turn for the darker, for the moodier. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That was my feeling of it.
Yeah, I don't know. This album was definitely like the whole thing was sparked just by. I owe my youngest brother this whole record. He had put on a Towns Van Zandt song when we were living together, and it was a song I'd never heard. Sparked this. It was this compilation called "In the Beginning" that I'd never known from Towns Van Zandt, and I consider myself perhaps his greatest fan. And went digging through the record and came across this song "Black Crow Blues" that just like floored me. I played it at least 20 times just nonstop, trying to get the vibe of it, and that kind of sparked the whole like aesthetic for this record. I think I intentionally wrote every song in minor keys. Mm-hmm. I wrote every song with only an A and a B section, which was pretty tried and true of Towns. He usually had simple songs that were you could pick up right away. And yeah, the darker thing, I don't know, that's just the way things are going these days.
Yeah, and maybe I'm responding viscerally to the album cover, which is gorgeous, shot by Julius on that beautiful snowy day we had with you in all black on the all white desert. It's really striking.
Turns out trekking through the desert in a cape and pointy boots and a big hat is really not the right clothing.
Let's talk about your collaboration. Ryan, were you a producer on this album?
No. I was just a sideman, kind of contributing weird smeary noises to it. It was cool, though. It was tracked live at Gabe's studio, Gabe on guitar and voice, and Tuyer Lund playing bass, Winston Watson playing drums, and me over in my station with a bunch of crap. And it was cool. It was cool to do a lot of that live and keep it. A lot of times, often I'll end up putting that smeary stuff down later as like kind of the last thing. And it was nice to have it there for two reasons. One, I think it kind of like contributed to the mood just immediately, kind of helped us know when a take was a take and when it wasn't. But also, it gave me the opportunity to perform those kind of sounds, which I don't often get to do. I don't often get to perform. I'm usually just putting them on things that I played something else on and going back later.
What were some of the instruments you had in front of you?
It's just a guitar with my little delay-based pedal board and Dave Smith Prophet Rev 2, my favorite synth of all time, and I think I had a couple of other things. That was really it, but I've spent a lot of time with those instruments, so I have a deep vocabulary with just a few things.
Yeah, painting with every color. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Dust and Stone and what it's like to record yourself specifically. What was this like? Do you write and record at the same time when you write?
Not typically like this record. I think I kind of touched on it for a second, but I do very much prefer the approach of songwriting as kind of get it out and keep moving. And so I had demoed all these songs like just on my iPhone. And, then we came in, and I'm very adamant about almost every record I produce, never letting the band hear the song before we get in the room together, which for me it's just like, I feel like there's so much prepared music these days, and it's easy to really make a potentially perfect product. But I love like hearing guessing, and I love what someone might call a mistake, but I think it also translates into just the energy and the vibe of people playing off each other and looking at each other and kind of wondering what's going to happen. And so yeah, I learned the songs kind of from scratch again with the band, and yeah, it was with these guys, with Ryan, with Trio, with Winston. It's like you can't throw anything at them that they won't play perfect. And I feel very fortunate to have made a record with such powerful and trustworthy musicians.
Yeah, it comes across, especially that the A section, B section, kind of just that structure is so strong, and then you have this texture on top, and those two things, that pillar and then the texture, really gives this album a very specific sound.
Yeah.
Which I did want to touch on quickly before we go back to music. You have traveled internationally, toured internationally. There's lots of international influences on many of your projects, but you said that this album sounds like here, like Tucson. Can you talk a little bit about that and what in the sound is the desert, is Tucson, is local?
Yeah, I think I definitely like being born and raised here, and like just coming from this environment. Like it's generally harsh in every matter of living here, and that I think naturally will come through in songs. But more sonically speaking, for me, I've always tried to, especially in recent years, like with Siksa, and especially collaborating a lot with Daniel Martin Diaz in a visual sense. Like, I feel like it's a journey trying to find maybe like how to turn this landscape inside out. Like, see, like, it's beautiful, yeah, and it's sunset in Gates Pass is truly stunning. But I really love the aspect of imagining what happens at night and what dangers are really like lying here, and it's a harsh, like violent landscape, and for me, like trying to bring it out in very aggressive like electric guitar tones and in very floating and surreal kind of synth sounds. That to me, that's the wash of nighttime in the desert. It's just trying to reimagine this place in ways that I don't think I've ever heard before. Amazing.
All right, more music. Do you want to say anything about what we're going to hear next, or just dive right in?
Yeah. This one's called... Oh, that's a good sound. I want that. It's called Forlorn Eyes. got nowhere to roam. Lord, I have tried to stay by her side, but I know she sees my forlorn eyes. I know she sees my forlorn eyes. When there is no truth in a man, and he's simply done what he can, a home he does seek and a woman he does need, to look upon his forlorn eyes, to look upon his forlorn eyes. Now go ahead and tell me what you see. Babe, is it you or is it me? I've heard the word and I know what we're worth. We're better than these forlorn eyes. We're better than these forlorn eyes. Yeah. Well, let's keep moving. This was in the spirit of really flying songs off the cuff. We finished the whole session about 2 hours early for this record. Got all the songs down that I had intended to get down for it, and yeah, it turns out we had some extra time. So I sent the boys out for a smoke, and I wrote this song in about 5 minutes, and it's actually one of my favorites on the record, called Draped Across the Line. There ain't no time for the maker. There ain't no love on his mind. There is a flood in the ties that bind, while we're draped across the line. We are draped across the line. There are 2 moons in my sky. There is an astronomic fight. Where is the law that might set this free? While we're draped across the line, and we are draped across the line. I've lost the battle in my heart. and I have lost the will to be. Take the words, they are here for you. While I'm draped across the line, I am draped across the line. Play one now. It turns out I really don't spend much time writing songs. I was going to say this next one we wrote in about 5 minutes with it was me and Billy Settlemeyer. We were about an hour and a half late for sound check at XO for a show, and decided we'd sit down and do this instead. Lately I've been telling you this day will surely come, and gently she restrains herself from asking how it's done. And we have been receiving words on letters from the coast, walking down the cobblestone to find out what we're worth. Safer than we were, safer than we'll be, erasing everything but our private victories. I see my mother's face painted on the floor. We've become the open gate that always asks for more. So in the material, the costume of a man, the language of your hieroglyphs, I'll never understand. Safer than we were, safer than we'll be, erasing everything but our private victories. Safer than we were safer than we'll be, erasing everything but our private victory.
This is KXCI Tucson. You're listening to Locals Only. My name is Sophie, and I am joined live in Studio 2A by Gabriel Sullivan, here playing songs from Black Crow, his new album, and special guest, Ryan Alfred. Thanks so much for coming down, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Still having fun?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Everyone's good?
There's nothing better than playing music, right?
Yeah, agreed. Do have to say, if you want to look with your eyeballs, this is live on YouTube and Facebook, so check it out. So you mentioned twice that you wrote two songs, well, two separate songs in 5 minutes. I do remember years ago you were doing a song a day challenge. What's your secret? Like, what's the advice you would give for just having the creative freedom to sit down, write a song right now? A lot of people struggle with that.
I remember what I was raised, the ethics I was raised with by my parents of just, if you're going to do something, do it, and do it right, and work harder than everybody else at it. And that's all I got. It's like I could sit around personally anyways, like I find myself in this situation currently where I'm of the mindset, like, I've got no inspiration, nothing's coming, but I know I just need to, like, sit down and do it. And so that year, 2014, 365 songs in 365 days. It was torturous, but I look back and it's like something really bizarre and special to me now. I consider myself someone with a somewhat goldfish memory, and but when I listen to those songs, I can remember every moment where I was, what that day entailed, and so yeah, it's a really special thing. But yeah, I just think the idea of waiting for inspiration is sure, it comes and those songs are out there, but if you don't sit down and make the intention to create, it's not going to come.
That is incredible advice. Thank you. I mean, it's really meaningful for me and all the artists who are listening, because oftentimes it is kind of sold to us as like this lightning strike of inspiration, and you're screwed if you don't have that. But
yeah,
hard work is the other part of it.
Yeah, I think just like making yourself like a tower for such things to come through requires, I think, a very intentional and daily practice of, like, I think it's a very ritualistic magic situation for me anyways. It's really a special moment to sit down and intentionally create.
Yeah. Real quick, do you always write with the guitar? Is that always the instrument you grab when you're going to do these intentional writing
Not
sessions?
always, no. It was piano, and then actually, since Ryan and I have been kind of really collaborating the last couple of years, there's one thing that Ryan said to me that is just like stuck in my head like crazy. It was like just the idea that if you sit down to write a song with a guitar, it's going to be drastically different than any other instrument. Like, it's just like many of the songs we collaborate on are based on one chord, and the melodies and the vocal pieces are all built over one chord, which sit down at a guitar and I'm always thinking like, it's got to go somewhere. It's got to, and you just realize
it's not that satisfying to just play one chord by yourself on a guitar. It's just not.
Then Ryan sends me like this huge heavy groove that's based over one chord, and it's the biggest thing I've ever heard. And it's, oh yeah, that is effective.
Yeah, it reminds me there is a lot of, I kept feeling this feeling of space in this album. There's a lot of space. And you're such a technically accomplished musician. Did you have to like force yourself to find the space to not fill it? No, not at all. I think for me this record feels like sorry there, buddy. Feels like a culmination of all the producing work I've been doing the last few years. Trying to realize this, like, how to project this way that I see this landscape here, and like
you know, for a while I honestly was like very, not ashamed, but like timid and afraid to like dive into the desert vibe, because it's seemingly so expected of musicians who live here. And but with this one, I was really just happy to like really go there and try and go all out in how I envisioned this place. And the space was like, I mean, it's what I feel here. And like Ryan was saying, when he was tracking, we played it all live, and with his soundscapes, like, and the sound design happening while we were recording, it was so easy to understand what we were doing there. Like, there was really no question about the direction it was going to take.
Yeah. Let's talk about the release show on the 4th at Congress. Are you going to be playing, Ryan?
I will, yeah.
Cool. And that is indoors, right? That's
Correct.
Awesome. What are you looking forward to sharing these in Tucson?
Playing the songs live for me is still like, we only played them in LA once last week, and then that's just plain as day, like crazy exciting for me to hear these songs on stage and to hear them interpreted now by like a handful of different musicians. Ryan will be playing guitar, and he played guitar and keyboards and a lot of samples, sound design on the record. Connor Catfish Gallagher coming, dragging him down from LA.
Hooray! We've missed him.
Yeah, he'll be playing some pedal steel and guitar. Jeff of Sixa playing bass, and a new friend of mine, Tim O'Brien, who I was introduced through playing with Tree Speak. Daniel found him and brought him down for some sessions in Tucson at my place at Dust and Stone, and was just thoroughly impressed by his drumming, and figured this was a good opportunity to bring him down and get some music going together. So
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fresh. Like, that band's never played together, so that's a whole new thing.
What a treat. And because we do serve the entire community of Southern Arizona, you're also performing in Bisbee at the Courtyard on the 3rd, right? I have it written
indeed,
down.
Thursday.
And then Phoenix on the 6th. So it's like a mini tour.
Yeah, there's a whole thing happening at that Phoenix show that I'm apparently not allowed to talk about until midnight, but I think a lot of Arizonans are going to be extremely pleased with the stateside announcement that comes out tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't even handle this. Will you come back?
I'll tell you after.
Okay, please. I'll keep it very quiet. That's really awesome. Now, I got too excited and all my questions have disappeared.
Oh.
Shoot. No.
That's okay.
I did want to talk about
the real questions.
Yeah, let's get deep. The other projects that you're working on, mainly Gnosis, because I'm obsessed with that song that we heard in the first hour of this show. Tell me a little bit about that, and when can we hear more?
That whole thing was like, I actually was me planning my next solo record. I really wanted to go in an electronic direction, and had heard so much stuff from Ryan that I think it was Pushing Buttons where I really was like,
I
was like, okay, that's where I want to go, like that way. And so we kind of just started sketching stuff like back and forth over email. Like, I think I was on tour while we started the whole thing, and we did some songs that came out great, like some originals of mine. And then I specifically remember in Ravenna, Italy, on the beach, get this email that comes in. It was from Ryan. It was like, hey, I made this crazy thing. Like, see what you think. Maybe you want to put some words in. And it was Flood and Drown, the single that we just put out a few weeks ago, and I lost it. I was like, yeah, let's do this. Like, and so yeah, we just been working up a bunch of songs, and kind of no pressure or intention, really, just kind of taking it as it comes. And for me, it's a huge outlet. Like, I grew up like loving metal and playing punk rock, playing in metal bands, and violent music always just, it's very natural for me, and I think Ryan as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, just
Me too.
Yeah, right.
I think that, I think metal gets this funny rap where people think like, oh, it's only angry people that are always angry that can relate. But you go to like metal shows and it's not just angry people. In fact, I generally find a lot of the musicians in that scene are some of the most like down to earth, easygoing people. And I'm convinced it's because they have found this specific and healthy outlet for that. Otherwise, like, I would say near universal sense of anger and tension that people feel that they usually kind of squash down and don't really express in any healthy way whatsoever.
Yeah.
Other than watching Game of Thrones or something, where they're just kind of taking it in, but to actually get to express it, engage with it, identify it, and say, hey, this is part of me. It's not the only part of me, definitely not the most important part, but I need to do this. And that's certainly what I get out of that project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funneling all of that into that music.
Yeah, I know we all listen to that music. Like, we get really excited about it when I see you at shows. It's like, oh my gosh, did you hear Deaf Heaven?
Yeah, what was it? I played with Billy Settlemeyer for Hoco Fest at EXO, and had like a 1 hour gap before I had to be over at Owl's Club to play with Tree Speak, and I was hell-bent on going to see my homies play in Gate Creeper over at 191, and got there. I was like checking the time. I was, all right, I'm definitely late, and was about to walk out the door. Hey, you know what? Put my beer down, and in a full suit, went and got in the circle pit, and that was the best time of Hoco Fest for me.
You gotta do it, man. Gotta get in that pit.
Yeah, sometimes.
Still get in that pit.
Well, I'm so looking forward to more songs in that direction or this direction. It's all fantastic.
I think that's the key, is to do all of it, to express all the different sides of yourself.
And ignore the voices that say that you have to pick one.
Oh, I don't even hear that voice, frankly. I really don't. I mean, maybe from a commercial standpoint, if you were going gung-ho trying to sell products, but,
no one buys products, so
yeah, no one's buying those products, first off. But second off, that's not why I got into music. I like to make money with it to support my life, but that's not more important to me than expressing myself.
You heard it here, folks. All right, more music, and then we will talk very briefly at the end just to recap.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure.
Hey, it's good to be back. Good to be home. I couldn't write the words today. Nothing seemed to be the same. And the moon that I looked to seemed to shine only on you. There's nothing in the world for me. If in your arms I cannot be. So pick me up and let me down. Let it all keep spinning round. 'Cause my woman's at the sea, spinning time back to me. This emptiness you see, what's missing in me is my woman at the sea. Close enough to me, and and your feet are in the sea. You might hear the softest sound, whispers love round and round. 'Cause my woman's at the sea, spinning time back to me. This emptiness you see, what's missing in me, it's my woman at the sea. Yeah, my woman's at the sea, spinning time back to me. This emptiness you see, what's missing in me, it's my woman at the sea. 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 All right, yeah, a couple more here. There's nothing left to get behind. There's no road left in these bones of mine. Do you feel it, babe? I'm pulling away again. With the burned out lights on the avenue, the factory walls that you took me to, well, they're telling me that I'm pulling away again. Yeah, they're telling me I'm pulling away again. Take it right. To walk the streets, it's sickening. This dirty bar, it's been killing me. And it's clear to me why I'm pulling away again. And there's nothing left to get behind. There's no road left in these bones of mine. Do you feel it, babe? I'm pulling away again. Yeah, I know you feel it, babe, when I'm pulling away again. I want to get my dear friend Nikolai Moog in here. Yeah. Is he outside that door? Bring him in here. Hey. My buddy Nikolai's here from the northeast of France, Metz to be exact. And yeah, we met each other a little over 10 years ago, I think now, in Minneapolis, Minnesota at I think the festival's still happening, called Deep Blues Festival. We, it was a bunch of pseudo blues guys with guitars and open tunings because they didn't know how to play, and then a suitcase with a kick drum pedal, and it was pretty gimmicky. And I didn't fit in at all. And then I heard a table at dinner speaking all French, and figured that sounds better. And we've been best friends ever since. Wrote this song and haven't played it in a long, long time. But I'm gonna try it out. Oh, dear tree, please forgive me as I lie and die beneath thee. There is nothing for me here. Desert flowers and addresses and those sweet monsoon kisses. It's all I know and all I will be. And sweet leaves sing my sadness as my life finally passes. I can no longer bear this pain, for there's a way to her beauty that sings to me deeply. It's enough to tear me from this earth. Well, I've tried, I've lied, I've even tried to love. Now I cry as I die.
Dear tree, please forgive me. Quand les pluies s'abattaient lourdes et inondaient une dernière fois les cactus et sonoras, le bois mort, les membres froids, sans fleurs ni couronne s'en ira.
I've tried, I've lied, I've even tried to love. Now I cry as I die. Les cactus et sonora, le bois mort, les membres forts. Les cactus et sonora, le bois mort, les membres forts. Les cactus et sonora, le bois mort, les membres forts. Les cactus et sonora, le bois mort, les membres froids. Right enough.
love. Now I cry as I die.